Hello, beautiful family. Welcome to your devotional. We are studying the topic of instructions. And I hope you heard yesterday's video, how it is so important that we do a recap of everything we have learned so far. And know that through protecting the environment and protecting the channel of faith and recognizing that God speaks to you through a person, in that proximity, in that access, you might have the privilege of receiving instructions. My pastor was able to trust me in that level. I knew for sure he did not have a lot of people that he could depend on, but I'm thankful that I learned after a lot of correction to be a part of that. First, I want to talk to you about saying yes. You will see in the Bible several examples where when something great was about to happen, an interruption of your day, an interruption of your plans, an interruption of your comfort, your privacy, an interruption of what you prefer to do, is going to take place. Do you know how to be attentive for divine interruptions? Because a great experience can hide behind an insignificant moment, but that insignificant moment can be full of discomfort. Let me give you an example. David, he was just, in his day, focusing on his sheep, putting on his little shepherd clothes, taking care of his job, his tasks. I'm sure he had his week planned out of what he would do, the worship songs he would write, the moments with the Lord. And that day, it was different. His father came to him and asked, "Can you please go and bring lunch to your brothers, the warriors, the warriors, the warriors? Yes, go bring them lunch." I don't know of one child that enjoyed running errands for his parents. I don't know of one that in their youth they would raise their hand and say, me, send me. It's usually the one that says, "Why me again? Why don't you call somebody else? Why do I have to be the one? Why?" So I wouldn't think that David was any different from a youngster that didn't like to be the errand boy. His brothers were not very nice to him. His father forgot him the day that the priest came to anoint him to be king. So you know that the relationship was not very nice or comfortable with his brothers, but he said yes to his father. And that moment that interrupted his whole day, had no idea he would have to leave the sheep in someone else's hands and figure out later if they did the job right or not, and having to now go all the way to where the war is happening to bring lunch to his brothers. Have you ever said yes to an insignificant task that carries you to the moment of your promotion? Who's teaching you to say yes? In the case of David, he arrived. His brothers were not nice to him. I don't recall them saying thank you for lunch. But you know what happened that day. God placed them exactly where David needed to be at the time he needed to arrive, to hear the words he needed to hear, and wake up the king inside of him. It is through an insignificant moment, it is through an interruption, it is through one of those routine days that you could be carried to the spectacular. That day, that little shepherd boy returned home, not with the reputation of a shepherd, but with the reputation of a warrior. And then that reputation took him to take the place of king. I want to ask you this. What does it take for you to say yes? Do you have to hear the sound of a prophetic voice with instruments playing in the background? What does it take for you to say yes? Does it have to fit your schedule, fit your preferences, fit your comfort zone, fit everything you want and everything you are and everything you need? Or are you ready to say yes, even when it does not sound like anything supernatural is behind it? Do you know how to say yes? I learned to say yes. I said yes to selling Bibles door to door. I said yes to going into buses, public buses in Mexico, to ask for money and put it in a little can for the cause of the Bible. I learned to say yes to changing diapers inside of a van when it was extremely hot outside with no AC and the baby had diarrhea. I learned to say yes to be a translator with headphones, and my job was to detangle or untangle the headphones and make sure that all of those equipment had batteries, and then translate in a very uncomfortable scenario. How many times have you said yes and been extremely uncomfortable, but had the best attitude to do it so that they would ask you again? Do you know how to say yes with the right attitude? That's part of the miracles you see in the life of David, in the life of the Shunammite woman, in the life of Peter, in the life of King Saul. Those are examples in the Bible of how one yes could take you to great experiences. Learn to say yes. It might happen today. Your boss might ask you to do something different today. You might receive a phone call from the company saying they need you to do something. You might receive a phone call from your pastor requesting extra help. You might be receiving a phone call that is disrupting, and it is interrupting, and it is uncomfortable, and it's not convenient, and yet God is hiding behind it. So if I were you, I would say yes. Thank you for listening to this devotional. If you would like to sow a seed today, you can sow through PayPal or Zelle. The email is pastoranna@wisdomforwinningchurch.tv, and you can also sow through Cash App, Wisdom 4 Winning. Thank you for listening to those devotionals, and I pray that behind that yes, you encounter the deepest dreams of your heart. God bless you.